Hello, Super Nerd friends, and welcome to Thursday again. I was going to talk a lot about. Sorry. I was going to talk a lot. My throat is just being weird, so you're going to have to deal with it. I don't know what it is. I was going to talk a lot about how horrible work was yesterday because it was kind of awful. But I didn't want to make a complainy vlog, so I'm just going to say I had a horrible day yesterday. And then it kind of turned around a little bit, I guess. Yesterday I was severely contemplating quitting this week because it's just, I don't know, I just got really stressed out. It's really stressful at Domino's kind of all the time, but especially yesterday. And so and I've been thinking about getting a new job anyway. Like, I don't know if I've told you, Haley, or Becky. I always forget who I tell things to. But I've been thinking about getting a waitress job. Actually, I think I might have told both of you. I was hoping to get one at Ralph's store, but I asked Alan about it, and he said that apparently Ralph said he will not hire anyone else from Domino's because he doesn't want to leave Domino's high and dry, which is understandable because he's been working there for 25 years. So you don't just want them to fail, and he's been working at our store for a very long time. But it's slightly frustrating because, I don't know, it's like other people I know that he knows got offered a job, like Danny did, and I'm kind of like, it irritates me that you won't offer me a job just because you don't want Domino's to fail, especially since I'm not the best driver right here. But, it might be that he just doesn't think I'm cut out or whatever. I don't know. So, yeah. That kind of sucks, and I was pretty disappointed that I'm about 95% sure that's not going to happen. So I am going to start applying around town. Sorry. I'm going to start applying around town to different restaurants that we have, and I'm going to keep my job at Domino's for now. But yeah, it got me so stressed out yesterday that I got a cold sore, because that's what cold sores are caused by, stress. Usually, for me at least. Which is why I'm wearing this beautiful, shiny Carmex. Because we don't have any Abreva, which is what actually kills cold sores, or like kills the seed that they grow out of. I know it sounds beautiful. You're really happy I'm talking about my cold sore. But yeah, I was really, really frustrated last night, and then I was supposed to take my antibiotic, the amoxicillin, for my root canal, but then I realized I lost it, like it had fallen out of my pocket or something during the day, and so then I was just really frustrated. And so I asked my manager, I was like, can I run home for just a second? I live really close, or I was going to say that, I don't think I actually did, but, I do live really close, and, I need to take this amoxicillin for my root canal. And then he was like, yeah, actually, I was just going to send you home, which I was supposed to be closing, which usually means you're there until, I don't know what's wrong with my voice, it usually means you're there until 1, 1 is when we close, so usually there until 2 or 3, hopefully and only until 2. But he was like, yeah, I was just going to let you go home at 11, and it was only going to be him and one other girl closing, and I was like, are you sure? Because that kind of sucks. And he was like, well, yeah, if you seem like you're having a bad day or whatever. I had said earlier that I was having a bad day. Um, and so he was like, so yeah, you can go home. It's okay. And then I was like, oh, you're so nice. Like, I don't know how many managers, honestly, would care at all in any profession that you're having a bad day, and they're kind of just like, suck it up and finish doing your work, finish your day out. So that was really nice. And nice for me to have a little less hours, because the last 2 weeks were, I went overtime on both weeks and it was extremely intense, and then I'm just like, I think working at Domino's would be okay if I just had less hours, but I don't want to ask for less hours because so many people, because I need money, and so many people, like, really want those hours and really need them, but I need them too, and it's just stressful. But yeah, so I'm going to start applying around town for waitressing jobs. I think applying soon would be a good idea because summer is ending weirdly. I mean, I know it's still like halfway through July, but I know a lot of people who waitress are in school or are going to school or go off to school for something. So they're going to need replacements really soon. And I figure if I start applying now, then people who need waitresses can have me trained by the time the other person has to leave. But yeah. So if I get a waitressing job, I'll probably take it because I would make more money, probably. At least more from tips, which counts for a lot. And I feel like I would be less stressed out, which would be nice because I'm getting a bit depressed again because of my job just sucking. And I hate to be like, I hate to sound like one of those people who's like, I can't handle a job, because I totally can, you know? I worked at Hastings for 6 months and I never felt as stressed out and frustrated as I do working at Domino's. Like, a lot of times it's really fun and really great, and then other times it's just horrible. And it makes me worried because most of the people in my family have anxiety disorders, mood disorder things, and like high stress problems, and most of those can stay. Like, I learned this in my psych class, huh? One thing I actually cared about in my psych class. Most of those disorders or like imbalances and problems you can have can stay latent as long as you don't trigger them with stress. And I am kind of constantly worried about that because almost everyone in my family has medicine to regulate their mood. And I really don't want any. And I know I'm really emotional and that I can be, very, very similar to my family in that way, but I haven't had to have medicine yet, and this is kind of the time when it onsets, which just kind of made me terrified of being 20. Like, I think that's why that birthday stressed me out so much, not because I wasn't going to be a teenager anymore, although I do miss being a teenager a little bit, just so I could be a little less mature without people being like, how old are you? But yeah, I mean, it comes and goes how much I think about it, but it is on my mind a lot, and I really don't want to have to be on medication for the rest of my life if it's something I can avoid by not being stressed. I'm slightly concerned. I kind of just told my dad about it. I made sure to say that I was thinking about getting a new job, and if I could not get a new job, that I would keep my job at Domino's. But he did not seem too excited about it. I think he thought my arguments about getting more money were logical. He mostly just said, but you're clumsy. Or he said, but you drop stuff a lot. And I'm like, yeah, but I carry pizzas around all the time. I haven't dropped any of those. Well, not like flipped them over. And, I feel like I'm getting better at being clumsy, if you can get better. So, yeah. That's really it right now, I guess. But I don't know. I don't want to be like one of those people who's like, I'm a quitter because I was like, oh, my job was too hard. Because a lot of people have worked there for a long time and are just fine with it. But I also don't want to be in an environment that's going to make me really stressed out and then depressed and then trigger all these other problems that I could have. Because that would really suck. If, like, a job was the problem that made all the other problems happen. I was about to start crying. That's embarrassing. I should cut that out. Anyway, talking about your guys' stuff, I have been reading a little bit. I'm trying to catch up really hard. It is getting more interesting, so hopefully, fairly soon, I will have caught up on reading. I still don't know where I'm supposed to read to. I don't remember where catching up is. So if someone could inform me, that'd be great. And yeah, I'm trying. Becky, I'm kind of interested in the part of your video where you were talking about What do you do if you are accosted by a homeless person or somebody who is trying to get something out of you? Especially if you know that they're lying. Or even if they're telling the truth and they're just begging for money, it's like, do you give them money? I don't know. I usually don't. I usually try to avoid them. I always feel bad about it. I did buy a hobo burger once, but it was like $1 or something, and I don't know, people were like, well, a lot of people bought him stuff that day or whatever, but you know, I was like, I was at $1 and I gave someone some food. I don't really care that much, you know what I mean? I would have done it for my friends. I would have done it for someone who wasn't suffering, so I don't see the difference really. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I never know really what to do, whether I should feel bad for them or whether I should feel. I don't know. It's a really complicated problem. I would love if you guys would share your thoughts on how you feel about helping homeless people who are begging on the street, because it's just like, I know a lot of people hate homeless people because they feel like they should just be able to fix their situation, or they're choosing to be homeless, which I think is terrible because I'm sure some people do, but I'm sure most people don't. And it's just frustrating because, if you were in dire situation, the same thing could happen to you, and you would want people to help you. But we live in a society where it's a really big problem if you're not helping yourself. You know what I mean? Which is why, like, I was talking about emotional problems. People don't take them very seriously because they feel like that's a problem you should be able to fix yourself, which is frustrating because it's obvious those people have never had those problems. I have had them to a certain extent. My family has had them, and I see it all the time, and I can guarantee you 100% that chemical imbalances and emotional problems cannot be handled yourself once they get to a certain level. Um, anyway, it's enough about that. So yeah, I'm glad that BBS is going well. I think the parents always think it's the nostalgia effect. They always think it was better in the old days. Um, but it makes me a little sad that you think of Rory when you think of Roman centurions going to get Jesus. I feel like it's a bit askew. Like Rory should remind you of the centurions going to get Jesus instead of the other way around. But, to each their own. Becky. Haley, I hope that Hayden does like his guard. I'm glad that you guys are staying in contact, although I thought he was home, so I guess I'm a little out of the loop on that one. I'm sorry you were sick. I'm glad you're feeling better though. And yeah, I hope everything's going okay down there. Hope you have a fun time at the house when your solo party with the dogs. And yeah, I don't know. I remember being in that soul-sucking boredom. And it's funny because as soon as you start working, you want it back. But yeah, I know how you feel, and I hope you find something, that things get better, and that a job is just around the corner. Anyway, that ends my vlog. It's slightly depressing, although I want to point out that I'm wearing my Superman shirt, which makes me look even more voluptuous than I already am, which is kind of irritating. But yeah, I like it. Just as with my other superhero shirts. I really need a Flash shirt so I can run in it. I keep telling everyone that, but I want one so I can go to a gym and get on a treadmill and run. Just because I think it's hilarious. Or like just run around town so I can show people. But yeah. Love you guys. Love, love. Bye.